Elevated offers on Wyndham cards. The real ID deadline is coming up very soon. Are you ready, or are you going to miss a flight because you're not prepared? And I've got a story today as it relates to gambling and how do you share the winnings, particularly with family, if there's more than one person involved in the win. Very interesting stuff, that and a lot more on this week's edition of the Weekly Pointers News Update. I'm Brandon Boyd with The Brandon Boyd Show. These episodes come out every Sunday evening. My goal is to catch you up on all the news you may have missed regarding credit cards, points and miles, travel, money, finance, and everything in between. Super simple to follow along. Just look at the topics on the screen. There's a timer down below and timestamps down in the description below. How much easier could it possibly get? If you do find this video helpful or mildly entertaining, don't forget to be awesome. Give me a big thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notifications for alerts. My referral links are down in the description. But we've got some cool news to share today, including a video of an astronaut running around naked on a plane. Yikes. We're going to discuss that as well, and we've got some great food deals at the end of the episode. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Barclays has elevated offers on their Wyndham cards, and they may be worth picking up this time around. The Earner Rewards card has a 60,000 point bonus after $2,000 spent in the first 6 months. The Earner Plus Rewards has 90,000 bonus points after $2,000 in purchases in the first 6 months. I really like that one. That's a great value for only $2,000 in purchases. And then the Earner Rewards Business has a 75,000 bonus point offer after spending $12,000 in purchases in the first 12 months. Now, it's important to note these aren't the highest offers we've ever seen on these cards, but I really like the 90,000 point offer because it only requires $2,000 worth of spend. So if you need some Wyndham points, go ahead and snag these. If you have a trip coming up and you're interested in staying at a Wyndham property, that's what these offers are for. Take advantage. The real ID deadline is coming up. Now, this is something that has been in the news for many, many years. Real ID is basically just an elevated level of ID to make sure you are who you are before you get on a plane. That's all that it is. It's a special looking driver's license or government issued ID if you don't have a driver's license. It's just an extra layer of protection when people get on a plane. Well, the deadline for having this done and for people to be able to get on the plane has kept moving back for years. A lot of it had to do with the pandemic that happened 2 or 3 years ago, so things just kept getting delayed. They were trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. Well, now it looks like they're trying to hold firm on this date, but the official deadline to have this happen is May the 7th. Now, what will happen if you don't have your real ID ready? This is really important because some people think if they don't have their real ID that they're not going to be able to get on their flight at all, and according to the TSA, that is not true. In fact, one of their spokespeople said that they will just have to possibly delay your experience, use some extra layers of verification on site to make sure that you are who you are, but you could eventually get back to your flight. Now, this could be a problem if you're running late and you're trying to show up and you don't have your real ID. That could be an issue, right? That could be a problem. But if you want to be safe, make sure you have your real ID by May the 7th. Now, will they move it back? We'll keep an eye on it. I'll let you know on a following news update. United Airlines has reached a partnership with Starlink where they are going to be putting this on their entire fleet by the end of 2025. Now, I absolutely love this, whether it's Starlink or whether it's using T-Mobile with some other services as well. I like the fact that more planes and more fleets are getting outfitted to have Wi-Fi on planes. It's 2025. The fact that this hasn't already happened is a little bit strange to me, just to be frank with you. But Starlink does deliver really the best in class satellite internet service, so you can get some awesome speeds on United Airlines flights. It's a really big deal because no matter where you're traveling, you should be able to have connectivity with Starlink because it essentially covers the entire planet. If you look at a map of all the Starlink satellites in space, it's kind of freaky. They're everywhere. It makes you wonder how they don't run into each other. But this is good news. It's a win for the consumer. More Wi-Fi on more flights. I encourage all airlines, get Wi-Fi. It's 2025. Let's get rolling. You know, this next story is an interesting one, to say the least, because it involves a female astronaut on a flight. Now, this flight had to go back to the gate before takeoff, which was a problem, but the female astronaut stripped naked before takeoff and ran around the plane. I guess when the pilot announced it's time for takeoff, she assumed it meant her clothes. A little bit of a miscommunication there, I guess, but long story short, these passengers, as you can see in this video, they're sitting still probably wondering what in the world they're supposed to do. What is this person up to? This begs the question, actually a lot of questions. What's the most unique, scary, or unusual experience you've had with another passenger on your flight? Now, are they gonna run up and down the aisles naked? That's a pretty rare case, but I'm interested if you've ever been sitting next to someone that does something strange, or you've just been on a flight where something just went crazy or haywire. Let me know. This one's a little odd. I usually don't put stuff like this out because, some people have, issues that they're dealing with and things like that. But you got to think, this is an astronaut, right? You would think that they are prepped, they've trained, their mental acuity should be very strong because it takes that to be an astronaut. But in this case, maybe something's going on, I don't know. But it just raises a lot of questions. I'm curious what you have to say about this. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Every week on the Weekly Pointers News Update, I like to share a story as it relates to credit cards, points, miles, travel, money, finance, and how those come together with personal relationships. They create some really interesting scenarios. And today I've got a question from someone online that posted their story where they went gambling with some of their family. They ended up winning some money, but how did they choose to split the money and what kind of issues does that cause? We're gonna dig into the details. I'm gonna read this directly from the perspective of the person that posted it online, and you let me know if they're in the right or they're in the wrong. I'm a 29-year-old male and my sister, 24 years old, we were on a cruise with our family, our step siblings, who we are not close with. There's no animosity, we just never lived together as a family and we were like 1,000 miles away all the time. And we killed time by going to the casino. We were just playing video poker, not winning or losing too much money. One evening as we were leaving the casino, we were walking by the roulette table and my sister turns to me and says, "You should put money on 19. I don't know what caused her to suggest this, but I shrugged and threw $5 on number 19 and it hit. As I was being given my $175, my sister immediately demanded half of it. She said since she gave me the idea, half of the money was rightfully hers. I refused, saying that if she wanted to win money, she should have risked her own money. After all, she wasn't about to give me $2.50 if I had lost the bet. This caused a huge fight between us, souring the rest of the trip. The rest of the family mostly stayed out of it, but it made things uncomfortable at times, which wasn't cool, particularly since we don't see some of them hardly at all. I agree that a nice gesture would have been to buy her a drink or something along those lines, but her immediate insistence that I give her half the money even prevented me from doing that. So am I a jerk in this situation for not giving my sister anything?" This is a really interesting scenario because the poster does raise a very good point. If he had lost that bet, do you think his sister would have given him some money for his losses? No, not really. I can tell you what I would do in this situation. $175 in the grand scheme of life, and especially dealing with family, shouldn't make or break your relationship. So in that case, I would probably just give some of it at least, just to have the problem go away and say, "Hey, thanks for doing that. I can't believe we won. Let's move on and just enjoy the rest of the trip." I don't think $175 is worth souring a relationship. So that does beg the question, at what point, if you did win in the casino, would it cause a rift? If this same scenario happened, let's say this guy won $500,000, what would his sister say then? Do you think she's entitled to any of it? Do you think at that point he should just keep it all? Is it just because it's a smaller amount that you think maybe he should or shouldn't? Raises a lot of questions. It's very interesting. If any of you all have been in any gambling or casino related stories like this, let me know, because I don't think there's a really clear answer. For me, I like to avoid the headache with family. If it makes things easier and makes the rest of the trip easy, that's easily worth half of $175, but maybe it's just me. And as always on the Weekly Pointers News Update, I like to end the show on a good food deal. This one's really important. On March 14th, that's 3/14, that is Pi Day, P-I Day. Now, if you're a mathematician or a math whiz, pi is 3.14 followed by, 1,000 digits or endless digits, whatever it is. Long story short, March 14th, 3/14 is going to be a big day for pizza deals. So check your local pizza restaurants for Pi Day deals. Just to give you an example of what's being offered out there, Pi 5 Pizza is going to have pizzas for $3.14 on that day to help match the 3/14 or Pi Day. So keep an eye out for that. Check your local pizzerias, call them and ask if they have Pi Day deals. March 14th, take advantage. Well, this has been a really fun episode, a little bit shorter than some of the other ones I put out, but that's what the news dictates today. I don't make the news, I just report it. We have some really interesting stories. We had the lady that ran back and forth up and down the aisles of the plane naked. A little bit strange. I've never done it, but you can let me know if you have. Also, we have the elevated offers on the Wyndham cards, and I want to know what you have to say about that casino story. It's really interesting, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. Keep in mind, if you're interested in any of the cards mentioned in today's video, or any card for that matter, make sure you apply using my referral link in the description below. Every time you do that, it does help support the channel. Can't thank you all enough for doing that so far. If you found this video helpful or mildly entertaining, don't forget to be awesome. Give me a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notifications for alerts, and when you click on the Brandon Boyd Show, click, you are going to get the latest information on credit cards, points and miles, travel, money, finance, free pizza deals, and everything in between. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. We'll see you soon.